Guys, real quick, just going to use this opportunity to shill my other platforms. You can find all my links on my Linktree page. The main pages I'm going to be using other than YouTube are going to be Minds, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, and Truth Social. So if you guys want to give me a follow over on those other platforms, I'd really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, what is up here today? Jigsaw097. I have not made an NFL video in quite a hot minute. I think that the Eagles have beat the Packers, the Titans, and now the Bears since I last made a video. I think the Colts was the last video I made. Speaking of the Colts, we'll get into that. I didn't watch the game, but I did see that they were 33-0. And the Vikings managed to win. So that's pretty disappointing because the Vikings are one of those teams that needs to lose at this point. But with the negative, there's also the positive because, yes, the Eagles did beat the Bears and also the Cowboys choked to the Jaguars. So we'll get into that. So, yeah, first of all, we'll go over the Eagles. Obviously, they are now 13-1. They already clinched the playoff spot last week. But, yeah, the Eagles are pretty much on a trajectory here, guys. If we can knock off Dallas next week, I think they play Saturday, which is Christmas Eve, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it looks like that is Christmas Eve. So I'll probably have to watch that game in silence while I work, unfortunately. But if they can knock off the Cowboys, guys, it's pretty much over. We already completely annihilated the Giants. We went 50-50 with the Redskins. Unfortunately, we had to lose to them. Really sucks. But, you know, I always harp on this channel that division is division. You can never take those losses too personally because there's just like a lot of history there, and they really have motivation to beat each other, and so that is what it is. But yeah, if we can knock off the Cowboys, if the Cowboys beat us, I mean, we'll still be good. We'll be 13-2, and with the Cowboys losing to the Jaguars today, I think that would just put them at 11 wins. So the Eagles would still be good. However, if they can knock off Dallas, it's a done deal, guys. I think they basically win the NFC East at that point, and then Dallas will probably be a wild card, but we'll get to play them in Philadelphia if we do play them in the playoffs. And real quick, yeah, I'm going to go over the NFC East standings. You'll also see that on the video screen. The Eagles, like I said, 13-1. The Cowboys are 10-4, and then the Redskins and the Giants are 7-5. Obviously, the best case scenario, again, the Redskins and the Giants play each other tonight. The best case scenario would be if they would tie again, but not likely to happen. So one of those teams is going to be 8 wins. But again, still, like I said, the Eagles are sitting very pretty on that perch right now. And if we can knock off the Cowboys, it is a done deal. But before I move on to mock the Colts, I do want to be a little humble here, guys, because I'm going to be completely honest. The Eagles played like absolute garbage today. And if it wasn't for the amazing defense, which continues to impress week after week, this would have been a loss easily, guys, in my opinion. This would have been an absolute loss, and there's just no way the Eagles would have squeaked by on this one. There were 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions by Jalen Hurts. These were like Carson Wentz-ish type interceptions, too, like just throwing the ball up into the air, trying to make a play out of nothing. We had A.J. Brown drops, which reminded me of Nelson Aguilar, to be quite honest. Some of those drops were like you had the ball in your hand, right? It was like flashbacks of like Alshon Jeffrey dropping the ball against the Saints. Luckily, this wasn't a super high-pressure game, but still, this was a game that you were supposed to just handle, and kudos to the Bears defense for showing up. And also Justin Fields, I think is their quarterback's name. That guy was like running around all over. There was a play where he like literally just juked the whole defense, and I got to give him credit. He almost got a touchdown out of it, but he happened to step out of bounds. So that basically was a touchdown in my mind, and he blew through the entire Eagles defense to get it. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. Again, personally, I just think they played like crap. The stats don't show it, obviously. If you look at Jalen Hurts, he went 22 for 37, 315 yards, and 2 interceptions. It says he has 0 touchdowns. But that's for passing. If you go to rushing, again, his stats look really interesting as well because he had 17 carries for just 61 yards, but then he has 3 touchdowns. But again, these 3 touchdowns were hard earned, and really he just kind of got them right at the end there. Other than the one where he ran right up the middle, I'll give him that one. But these ones were really, you know, just slow, meticulous drives, and then Jalen Hurts, you know, delivered the punch at the end. So the stats don't really tell the whole story. Jalen Hurts, he still is the MVP in my opinion, but this was a sloppy game, and I just want to be honest about that. Another thing is the dismal use of Miles Sanders. He was only used on 11 carries for 42 measly yards, so I don't know what they were doing with that one. And then obviously A.J. Brown had 189 yards, but he dropped like 2 passes. Devontae Smith was really the best player in this game. Devontae Smith continues to impress. He is literally the resurgence of Deshaun Jackson in my mind, like Deshaun Jackson in his prime. And so Devontae Smith looked fantastic. But yeah, A.J. Brown is, he's starting to remind me a little bit of Alshon Jeffrey. Like he'll have really good games, but then he'll have just kind of mediocre games. He's never bad, but he sometimes is just, we expect him to be great, and sometimes he just isn't. But that's kind of the biggest criticism. Like I said, the defense showed up big here, like absolutely huge. Let's see, Hassan Reddick had 2 sacks. Jason Hargrave had 2 sacks. So yeah, another 4. Actually, no, here we go as well. Josh Sweat had 2 sacks. So yeah, another 6 sack game. Again, the Eagles are going to break records this year with their defense. Fitting that they played the Bears, because the 1985 Bears defense is kind of what this one reminds me of at times. And so, yeah, the defense kept us in the game, guys. They kept us in the game because the Eagles were doing nothing for most of the game until about the end of the second half, or yeah, the end of the second quarter. And then, they started to slowly, steadily keep the lead in the final part of the game, but the defense really kept us in because, yeah, this offense was sloppy, man. It was struggling. It was looking really bad at first. And, kudos again to the Bears defense. I don't know if the offense was just having an off day or if that was just a matchup from hell. Sometimes you get that where defenses are just really, they're really good against you, and so you can't really do much. So, again, a win is a win, but, yeah, this was one of the uglier wins for sure, probably since the Colts win. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. I'm actually going to make a separate video on the Colts, I've decided. So if you guys want to check that video out, I'm going to just kind of go over that because I actually found an article. I didn't actually watch the Colts game, but I thought the article was very interesting because I guess the Vikings had just one of the worst games ever and then one of the best wins ever. And that similar to what happened in 2017 when they beat the Saints to play the Eagles in the NFC Championship. The Vikings always have these fluky wins, so I'm definitely going to look into that one and make my own video on it. So that's kind of the video just for this today, guys. Like I said, I have not been covering the Eagles for several weeks now just due to life circumstances, but we had a very impressive blackout win. They were wearing the black jerseys and the black helmet, which was awesome against the Packers. We had a very good win against the Titans. Actually, yeah, I missed it. Actually, it's been longer than I thought. So we have beat the Packers, the Titans, the Giants, and now the Bears. So it's been a month. I apologize, guys. So we had a very good win against the Packers. We had a very good win against the Titans. That was actually the A.J. Brown game, and then we had a blowout, dominant, probably the best win of the season against the Giants. That one was just great to watch. And then this extremely ugly but well-earned win against the Bears, putting the Eagles at 13-1. Like I said, very good position. We just got to take care of this Cowboys business, put them in the ground on Saturday, and we're good to go. Then we still play the Giants one more time, but I think that's at the very end of the season, and we play the Saints, and so those are all winnable. The Eagles could literally get into the playoffs only losing 1 game, and then the real fun starts as long as they can get that first round bye, which is highly likely. The Vikings are pretty much the only team that I think can get the first round bye other than us, but the Eagles would have to blow 2 straight wins at this point. And again, this is why I'm going to get into this Colts game separately, because if the Colts had beat the Vikings, it'd be a completely different story. But anyway, that is this video, guys. If you like this content, please go ahead and subscribe. I actually have a new Rumble account I'm going to be sharing later, so the trailer in the beginning of this video is going to be a little bit misleading because that Rumble link actually won't work anymore. But please follow me over on the alternate tech sites. Those are Odyssey, Minds, and things like that. Much better than YouTube. YouTube is complete garbage at this point, as I've always said. Hopefully maybe Elon Musk will buy YouTube next. Then we can get less censorship on here. But, until that day comes, until Susan decides to relinquish her powers. But anyway, guys, and as well, if you are new to the channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and like this content, as it does help with the algorithm. But that being said, this has been Jigsaw0097. I will talk to you all later.